Hey homeschooling friends, I just wanted to show you the geography curriculum that I used with my homeschooling children. I did this with my 5 kids a couple of years ago, and they were, at that time, they were 9, actually 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we used this curriculum called Trick Geography. We got it on christianbook.com. Here's an example of the student book, and here is an example of the test book. I am going to show you briefly what is inside of Trick Geography. So actually, we are missing one of the other books that come with this curriculum that we didn't purchase. And that was the book that gave you the answers. I'll show you how it works. Here's an example. So we've got Africa. So on the top page, you've got which region of Africa you're memorizing. And then on the bottom page, you've got all the different countries in Africa and kind of silly pictures inside of the countries. So the other book that we could have purchased will give us what is called the trick words for each of the countries. So we decided to make up our own trick words instead of purchasing the other curriculum or the other book. And that's just a way that we chose to save money in doing this curriculum. So essentially what we did is it took us, I'm going to say 10 months, and we learned the entire world. We focused just on learning every single country of the world, and then we learned the provinces and the territories in Canada, and then we also learned the states in the United States. We haven't tackled capitals or anything yet, but we learned all the countries in the world, probably in 10 months, doing it for 5 days a week for about 10 minutes a day. So what we did is we would just focus on one region per week, and usually after 5 days the kids had already memorized them. On the first day, I would give them their workbook sheets, and we would make up silly little things to go along with each country. So for example, here's my daughter's workbook. Here we have Morocco. We just don't mind the spelling. I never care about my kids' spelling if we're just learning something new. But Morocco, we thought that looked like a Morocco. Here is Algeria. We thought that we would name him Mr. Algier. And then for this one up here, Tunisia, we decided that it looked like a tuna, so we thought, let's name him Tuna. We named Libya Lips, and Egypt, we already knew what that was, so we just called it Egypt. We've got Sudan. We thought it looked like a Sudan if you turn it sideways. And then South Sudan was the south part of the Sudan. And then this is Mr. Chad. We thought he looked like Chad once we connected the dots that were already put inside of the map for us. And then we thought if you turn this sideways, it looks like a 9. So we called it Niner, and so on. So you could see kind of the gist of it. So on day 1, we would name all the countries, and we'd have a lot of fun with it. Like it brought a lot of laughs in our homes, and we would make up silly things that would help us remember the countries. And then on day 2, 3, 4, and 5, all we do is we'd go over them. We'd name them by their name, their silly name, and their real name. And I know that sounds like a lot of extra work, but it ended up being that because we had silly names for them, it was so much easier to learn all of the countries. So essentially what we did is we went through every country of the world, and we did the exact same thing. Here you see another part of Africa that we learned, and so on. So this book, Trick Geography, goes through all of the continents, and we went through country by country learning and making up silly words and silly sayings or silly little expressions for each country. So here's Europe. So the same thing. We just made up our silly little things for each country. And it is amazing how quickly the kids caught on. And me myself. I mean, like my youngest was 8, and in 10 months, she knew every country of the world. We could point to it and she would know what it was. And sometimes we would laugh and say the trick word that we made up as well. Now, what I do to maintain what they have learned is I purchased these books at the dollar store. They're just they're really cool because you can just we rip the sheets out and we can put them in. And what we did is we put the sheets in, and now we only work on geography 3 days a week. And what we do is we go through the entire thing, and we just each take turns doing a page, and we'll just they turn their books like this so they can't see the answers, and they'll just quickly say what the countries are. And then the next child will do the next page and just looking at the top because they don't want to cheat and look at the bottom, and they will say the next countries. And what we do is we just 3 days a week now, we just review our geography, and my children know all of the countries of the world, and it's been a blast learning it. So I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you some ideas of how you can teach your kids geography and how they can learn all the countries of the world in a really short period of time and have a lot of fun doing it. Thank you.